Finally, the January bad movie trend is over. And it only took till the end of February. Congratulations, Hollywood. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I'm your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about The Invisible Man starring Elisabeth Moss. But it was supposed to star Johnny Depp and be a part of Universal Pictures' Dark Universe, but after Dracula Untold and The Mummy didn't do very well with audiences, they just decided to, scrap that Dark Universe and just use The Invisible Man as its own thing, its own movie. Was this a wise decision? Yes, it was. Now, granted, I didn't really like Dracula Untold that much. It was okay, I remember. And I'm probably the only person that liked The Mummy. I know it wasn't a good movie, but I had a good time with it. And I kind of wanted to see where this dark universe was going, but it didn't do very well, and it wasn't making Universal the money they thought it was, and the movies were panned, so they decided, well, we're going to do our own thing. But that being said, the drought is over. The drought of good movies this year, for horror thriller movies this year, is over. The Invisible Man is worth checking out in theaters, I will say that. Is it totally original? Not really. It kind of takes a couple things here and there from a few different movies. One of them, of course, the obvious being, in a way, Hollow Man, Kevin Bacon's Hollow Man. The other, it kind of feels like Jennifer Lopez is enough. And then there's probably a few more movies sprinkled in here and there. Unsane, a little bit. So there's just a few movies that it draws inspiration from. I will warn you that I might give some minor spoilers. I won't give away the big stuff, but I am going to talk about one thing, because to talk about the movie as a whole, I have to give up one of the secrets. So I'll just warn you that I'm going to be talking about one of the movie's reveals, but I won't give away the other stuff. What this movie is about, you have a woman played by Elisabeth Moss, and she is escaping a relationship where it's totally, in many different ways, abusive. And when I say many different ways, I mean many different ways. You have everything from verbal to physical to sexual type abuse going on in this relationship. This man has total control of her life, and she finally is able to escape. She's living in paranoia, living with a friend of hers, when the news comes that her ex has taken his own life. But shortly after she finds that out, and the ex has left her a lot of money, because he's some like tech wizard in the field of optics. He leaves her this money, but she can't commit any crimes. She can't be found to be mentally unstable. There's of course many caveats to this money she's getting. But shortly after she finds out that he's dead, weird things start happening, and she feels that he is still alive, and he has also found a way to make himself invisible. And this is kind of the whole setup for the different plot points of this movie. Now, here's the one I'm having to give up. Now, again, if you don't want to know anything, I recommend this one. It's a really good movie. I'm not going to say it's like a great movie, but being that this year we haven't had one good horror thriller movie, this is a welcome treat. Okay, so here we go. The movie plays around with, is she insane, or is there really an invisible guy stalking her? While the movie does an okay job trying to convince you that she's insane, there's some things that happen, and you actually see it in the trailer where the knife falls off the counter. There's no way that knife could have fell off the counter by itself. And there's also other things that couldn't have been done on their own. So I'm glad that they didn't try to ride this whole thing of she's insane the entire movie. It was probably a smart decision. So yes, there is actually someone stalking her. So that's the big thing I'm going to give up. Now, the how, I'm not going to. The trailer gives you some ideas. So here's the thing. There's really no big unpredictable reveals in this movie. If you listen closely to some things that are said, you'll figure out the twists. That being said, Elisabeth Moss is such a good actress that she's going to keep you invested anyway. If this movie were in the hands of a lesser actress, the story might not have been as compelling. Because whenever she needs to convince you that people might think she's crazy, she does a good job at that. When she has to, has to fight back against this invisible dude, she's very convincing. Just everything, when she's scared, when she's angry, Elisabeth Moss is just really good. And if this were some unknown actress that isn't as talented, you might not have been invested. Now, I'm not saying the supporting cast wasn't good, because they were, but you needed a really good lead to carry this movie. And I thought Elisabeth Moss did a fantastic job. I really liked what they did with a lot of this. Again, the twists and turns, you're going to see them coming. You're going to see, there's I don't know, 4 or 5 decent twists in this. And it's like, yeah, okay, I saw it coming. That being said, the movie still keeps you entertained. Yeah, it does rely on a few generic jump scares here and there, but there's also some clever jump scares. There's some clever movements of the camera. There is a few times where you're wondering how said invisible man is being silent. So there is that. But you know what? You kind of forget it, because again, Elisabeth Moss is keeping you invested in this movie. Now, while I won't say the movie was like utterly terrifying, it is still a really decent thriller. The things that the villain is doing to our hero are pretty compelling, even though you've seen these twists coming. What he does with said twists are interesting. So you're definitely enjoying the story as you go along. You're really feeling for our main character, because, I mean, that she's right. Of course, no one's going to believe her that there's an invisible man stalking her. And seeing her being able to stop being the victim and go on the aggressive offensive is an entertaining part of the movie, because you see this woman who has been beaten down for multiple years. I believe it's something like 3 or 4 years. I believe they met in like 2017, and if this movie takes place in 2019, 2020, you're looking at 3-4 years. You're looking at someone that's been totally beaten down rise up and take on this horrible person that she knows is just, he's ran her life for so long. She knows he's evil, and she has to be the one that steps up, because no one else will believe her. There's not much more else I can say about the movie without giving away a lot of the twists and turns. Again, I think you'll see them coming when you're watching the movie, but I think you'll be invested in the story that it won't matter. I know there's been times where I've said, well, I saw the twist coming and it kind of ruined the movie. No, that's if a movie has been unpredictable the entire time, but then all of a sudden it becomes predictable. If the characters are worth being invested in, some predictable twists and turns aren't too bad. I was kind of glad this movie didn't go with the whole route of it's all in her head, because I think that would have been a boring, cheap cop-out. I liked the fact that there's an invisible guy chasing her, and when the crap hits the fan, when they finally do reveal that no, this isn't in her head, the things just get more entertaining. And I liked that she has to become, she has to be really, she has to find ingenious ways to trick him and to see him and things like that. I mean, yeah, there's some, like I said, it borrows from other movies when it comes to invisible characters, but I liked what they did with this. It was an entertaining movie. Again, it's not an amazing movie, but you really like the characters. The twists and turns, though predictable, are entertaining. The story's entertaining. And again, watching the character rise up from being beaten down to a strong person that faces her fears, it's definitely worth checking out. So yeah, I definitely recommend The Invisible Man. I still am really curious what the Dark Universe version was supposed to be, but you know what? We're probably never going to find out. So you know what? Just take this movie for what it is. It's entertaining. I enjoyed it a lot, and I do recommend it. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel. Like this video. If you have anything to say about The Invisible Man or your thoughts on not being able to see the Dark Universe come to fruition, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Until next time, I'm your host, the Real Gino, Gino Reynolds. See ya later.